Well, I've got a rare treat tonight. I've got Santa's taking some time out of his busy schedule. I know how busy he is. And I wanted to call him up to see what's going on and how climate change is affecting him at the North Pole, he and Mrs. Claus. And see what are you doing, Santa? Thank you for joining us. Are you doing, and Mrs. Claus and the elves, are you doing anything special concerning global warming?
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, Greg. Well, Mrs. Claus and I got very concerned about the scary news reports we had been hearing and decided to go completely green. Green was good because it matches my red suit. That's a little Santa humor, Greg.
I like it, Santa.
Anyway, we started relying solely on wind energy for 2 years. Mrs. Claus bought me your book, which I had to read by the light of Rudolph's nose, no electricity, when the wind didn't blow. Your book, Inconvenient Facts, taught me that the Earth was actually benefiting from the rising temperatures and increasing carbon dioxide.
Wow. So are you back on the electric grid now?
Oh, yeah. We are warm and toasty, and the elves don't have to worry about blackouts anymore.
No blackouts. That's great. But I bet you still get the whiteouts up there at the North Pole.
A little more Santa humor there, Greg. No blackouts. That's great. Oh, ho, ho. We are still having whiteouts, though. But we're used to those.
Oh, well, how have things been otherwise?
Well, I had to put Donner and Blitzen on a diet with all the increased plant and lichen growth. They got overweight. But we've got them on a diet now, and they'll be fine for Christmas Eve.
So there's more lichen and plants. Why? Because of CO2 fertilization effect?
Exactly.
Oh, well, that's a good thing, I guess. So I understand you received a letter from Greta Thunberg.
Oh, yeah. That's one angry young lady.
Really? What was she upset about?
She simply said, "How dare you?" 3 times and underlined it.
Oh, well, what was she so upset about, Santa?
Reindeer flatulence. She was saying when I deliver gifts that the reindeer are creating CO2 and it's changing the climate.
Reindeer flatulence? Really?
Well, it does get pretty ripe in the barn after dinner. Greta simmered down when I told her that the herd had an appointment with a stomach doctor. And by the way, it's not just me she doesn't like. She is really upset with you and your book.
Why me?
Greta said your book's message that modern warming is neither unusual nor unprecedented is misinformation. I tried to defend you, but she was having none of it.
What? Does she want you to give me a lump of coal?
Oh no, she hates coal. And oil too, for that matter. She wants me to give you a muzzle since you have been so effective in publicizing your inconvenient facts that show that there is no climate emergency.
Oh no, you're not going to do that, are you?
Oh, never. I will be bringing you a truck-mounted loudspeaker. More people need to hear this message. Earth is greening, and how farmers are prospering because of how the beneficial effect of carbon dioxide.
Well, I got to tell you, you're quite the CO2 enthusiast. Would you be interested in a position at the CO2 Coalition?
Oh. I must say I'm flattered, but I'm afraid I'm needed here. Mrs. Claus relies on me to keep the polar bears away from the reindeer. Contrary to predictions of polar bear numbers going down, we've got more than ever.
Well, I'm not surprised. That's another myth we bust in my book, Inconvenient Facts. So what are the hot gifts for the year?
I'll be delivering extra winter clothing to the climate protesters so they won't freeze while complaining about too much warming. Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Gore have both asked for additional carbon offsets because they've been jetting around the world so much. The big news is the elves have been busy printing copies of Inconvenient Facts to deliver the news of a prospering Earth. You might want to send them a box of Mrs. Wrightstone's cookies as a reward. I know I enjoy the ones that you leave out for me on Christmas Eve, although I wouldn't mind if you change that up to a martini this year.
I think we can arrange that, Santa. Well, I want to thank you for your time tonight. Maybe we can do this again next year. In the meantime, I'll do all I can do to keep reliable, abundant, and affordable energy flowing to you in the far north. Thank you again, Santa. Good night.
Merry Christmas, Greg.